just for everyone's benefit, tonight we're drinking Paula Vennell's tears.
And there's enough for everyone.
Welcome to Have I Got News for You? I'm Alex Horne. In the news this week, after eating up all his mushroom soup, someone tells Joe Biden it's sponge pudding and custard for afters. As he's offered a hot drink on a campaign visit to a factory, one UK politician shows how battle-hardened he's become as he remembers to check the instant coffee for pubic hairs. After shrugging off the post-Brexit lack of European funding, Britain's National Space Agency proudly unveils its own Hadron Collider. And at the Festival Hall, one of the nominees admits he didn't even know there was a Cock of the Year award. On Ian's team tonight is a controversial broadcaster who's written a book about how to bring down the current government and says she's on a mission to get rid of as many Tory MPs as possible. Relax, I think Rishi's got that covered. Please welcome Harold Vorderman. On Paul's team tonight is a comedian who's the host of... sorry, I'll say it again, Jack. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, not so easy when you got the task, is it?
Quite right. Fair enough. On Paul's team tonight is a comedian who is the host of I'm Sorry, I Haven't a Clue. And that's a radio show, by the way, not that seven-way debate you've just seen. Please welcome Jack D. We begin with the bigger news stories of the week. Ian and Carol, here's yours.
All right, that's a new series of The Apprentice.
Oh, yes, it is.
Yeah, someone's bricking it.
Why?
What is that?
That's come out of the Thames freshly.
Have they finished?
Oh, thank goodness.
Well, there's a friendly handshake after what was not very friendly at all.
It was very tetchy, wasn't
Very
it?
tetchy.
Very shouty.
Very yes, yes.
Very shouty. But the argument was about when he was banging on about the £2,000, supposed £2,000.
Yeah, this is the big issue. Sunak kept saying, under Labour, you'll pay 2,000 more. These are figures that I've come up with.
Yeah, no, I think he actually said independently verified.
Which they weren't.
No, they weren't, no.
No, they were Conservative special advisers had given them to civil servants.
Yes.
And amazingly, they'd come up with this figure of £2,000, which turned out very shortly not to be true. Isn't that amazing? It was The Spectator, and this is a right-wing paper, saying, well, under the same system, under the Conservative plans, you'd be paying £3,000.
I'd like to go into the business of independently verifying things.
Yes.
They can call me out. Can you independently verify this £2,000 figure? I said, I'll get back to you. And then I will say, yes, I can verify that. And then send the invoice in.
Yeah.
Well, again, they do make it very easy because, you know, the big thing, under Labour, you'll pay £2,000 more next year. And then a number of journalists pointed out, since this government started, the tax increase for everyone has been 13,000.
Yeah.
So, hey, we're 11,000 up.
Yeah.
It's always difficult for a government that's been in power for 10 years or more with a big majority saying, this is what we're going to do. Well, why haven't you done it? You know?
It's not going to get any better for them, though, is it? I think, this is my prediction, that they will come third to the Lib Dems. That's what I think.
Oh.
And they will form the opposition.
That was a good noise, wasn't it? It's like that sort of noise you used to get on 1970s quiz shows when the curtains parted to be a caravan. Ooh.
It's a hell of a prize, though.
Yeah, especially if you didn't own a car.
Carol, I've got a question for you. How can waiting lists be going down when they're higher than they were 2 years ago? It's quite a mathematical conundrum.
It was it. So Rishi Sunak said waiting lists are going down, and Keir Starmer put him around and said, no, they've gone up since you said they were going to go down. And Rishi Sunak said, they've gone down from when they were even higher than that.
Yeah. Incredibly, that's exactly what he said.
But we are now making progress. The waiting lists are coming down. But what Keir Starmer didn't mention to you, which you did, Julie...
Waiting list 7.2 million, they're now 7.5 million. He says they're coming down, and this is the guy who says he's good at maths.
Yeah, they are now coming down. They are now coming down.
7.2 when you said you get them down. 7.2 million, they're now 7.5 million. I'd like you to explain how they're coming down.
Because they were coming down from where they were when they were higher.
7.2.
And they're now on their way down. They are down. Well,
I think the same is true of the polls.
Did anyone learn what Keir Starmer's dad did for a living?
I think he's never mentioned it. It's kept a very tight secret. He's never said anything about that, so no one knows, actually.
No, we did track down some secret footage of Keir Starmer finally admitting what his dad does. Here we go.
My dad was a toolmaker, so he went down the skills route. My dad worked in a factory. He was a toolmaker. My dad was a toolmaker. My dad, by contrast, was a toolmaker. My dad was a toolmaker. My dad was a toolmaker.
Has no one ever heckled him and said, well, he made you, didn't he? Where was Ed Davey in all of this? Where was he?
We're going to come on to it big time.
He wasn't included in the head-to-head because he was on a skateboard.
I can't wait till you see what Ed Davey's been up to. He's had a great week.
Well, we'll wait for you to bring us on to the subject.
Yes, I'm not on that card yet.
OK, all right.
Away from the frustrating televised debate, the main parties have been annoying people on social media as well. You're aware of the social media accounts, Jack?
No, I don't know. My mind had drifted off when you were reading that bit, and I just so I didn't know what the full question was.
How can I keep you more focused?
No, I must keep myself. It's my responsibility.
OK. Well, I'm going to show you Rishi Sunak's TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's so cheeky, poking fun at Labour's lack of policies. Here we go.
right, here we go again. Today, I'm going to be doing an explainer on Labour's policy for our country's future.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If Labour's policy is a blank sheet, how did he manage to cost it?
Oh.
And the important thing about TikTok is that it's owned by the Chinese state. So it's a good thing to be on as Prime Minister.
Yeah. Labour are also on it, because they saw...
They should all know better.
There's nothing wrong with putting a card in a newsagent's window. Woman with large chest for sale. There's nothing wrong with putting that card in the window. Nothing wrong at all.
Well, I'm going to have to show you what Labour did
Yeah,
back.
do.
Having been stung by Rishi, they did this.
Right, here we go again. Today, I'm going to be doing an explainer on Labour's policy for our country's future.
Pretty good. Yeah. One certain Labour policy is the setting up of a state-owned power company called Great British Energy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Excitingly, Ed Miliband's heavily involved, as we can see from this dynamic video.
Oh my God, is that Ed Miliband? Where are you going?
I'm off to set up GB Energy. See you later, bye.
Do you think that's set up?
I think somebody was obviously filming an empty street, and then Ed Miliband came down it and it got emptier, and they shouted out a question because they were mic'd up, and so was he, and I think this sort of thing is entirely coincidental. I mean, he could be going to a crack den in Tow Hamlets. I I don't think he is, though.
So any amount of debates and TikToks won't help the Conservatives much if the latest polls are to be believed. What is the biggest poll at the moment, Carol? Do you know what the numbers are?
The YouGov... Well, YouGov
Yes.
changed their methodology, didn't they?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm going nerdy on this one. And,
So you're apologising to me?
and the Conservatives have gone down to 19 and Reform are up to 17%.
Yes, but a YouGov poll of 50,000 people gives Labour 400-plus seats and the Conservatives fewer than 150. It could be the biggest majority since who? It's one of your friends, Ian. It's Stanley Baldwin.
Oh, good old Baldwin.
Yeah, 1924, exactly 100 years ago, he had a majority of 209 seats.
Yeah.
No, he lost it within 5 years.
Yeah. You can't be too overconfident. That's why Keir looked so nervous.
Yeah.
He was genuinely nervous. He thought, I'm on telly, I could mess this up. But then he'd forgotten who was opposite him.
Who might lose their seat, do you know?
Someone gave a whole list, and I know they fingered...
No, careful,
No,
careful,
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 all right.
careful.
mentioned Grant Shapps. I know that was the one who is...
I've got Jeremy Hunt on my list. I've got...
Yeah. Jacob Rees-Mogg.
Not on my list, but...
What?
No.
I can write it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's there. Rees-Mogg's there. What about Diane Abbott? Did she or didn't she stand?
She's going to stand.
Yeah.
She has thwarted the Labour leadership and decided she'll stand.
Yes.
One leading left-winger told The Telegraph she can stand on the proviso that she won't. I'm being told she's been accepted back into the party after Angela Rayner bullied Keir Starmer into it. I'm going to show you a clip of Angela Rayner boasting to a Sky reporter about her election plans.
So you've got your own battle bus, an Angie Rayner battle bus is about to be unleashed.
An Angie Rayner battle bus. Yes.
Wow.
You're going to love it.
I'm coming on it.
It's got a fridge.
Was that for Boris to hide in? That's a very different interviewing style, isn't it?
Yeah. They do look like they're on their second bottle of wine there, don't they? Yeah.
They're sucking it through that microphone like it's connected to a big jar underneath the desk.
I've got my own bus. It's got a fridge.
Yeah.
I'll tell you another thing. We've got a cigarette.
What has Keir Starmer said about Diane Abbott since she was allowed back in, do you know?
Pioneering.
He does use a lot of vague language. He said, I've more respect for Diane than she realises. Which could be a lot of respect or not much respect at all. There was some good news for music fans on the election trail.
Is there going to be more music? That's good. I'll vote for that.
There's going to be less of a particular example of music.
Is it D-Ream?
It is D-Ream.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we won't have to hear things can only get better for the rest of the election. D-Ream have issued a statement saying they're not going to let Keir Starmer use any of their songs, so that's disappointing. None of their other songs are going to be used. So...
Do we know which music they will use instead? Have they chosen something else? Shut up your face or something. Just for fun, because they're going to walk it, aren't they? Just, shut up your face.
What has Ed Davey been up to?
He announced a policy about social care this week, which is rather good.
Yeah, I haven't got anything about his policy.
Has he stopped doing silly stunts? Has he stopped doing those?
Not
no,
at
he
all.
hasn't.
Not at all.
No.
One specific thing, he's had a huge amount of fun with an outdoor Jenga set.
Yes.
Here he comes.
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to today's event? Always. Oh, you have a prop for us. What have you got for us today?
Well, it's going to be blue, and it's going to come down.
We'll come and see in a minute or two.
I mean, Damien, it's always fun, isn't it? It's always fun with Ed Davey.
It is always
Not the most
fun.
convincing of slogans. It's always fun with Ed Davey.
Well, I've got a list of videos that the Have I Got News For You archivist has logged this week. This is a genuine list.
OK.
He's been walking about in trunks. He's gone on a water slide with a woman, with a man on a boogie board. He's been smiling. He's got his head through an inflatable. He's baked in a chef's hat. He's tried cake icing, a chef's kiss, whisking, cuddling Labrador, serving ice cream, walking the gangplank, putting on life jacket and showing off his cookie.
It's ever since he took on that new PR consultant, Mr. Tumble. It's not been working well. I think he needs to change tack.
Were there any of those clips you'd like to see?
Yeah, cuddling Labradors.
Cuddling Labradors.
Yeah.
But someone needs to tell him that 9-year-olds can't vote, so there's no point in doing all this stuff.
Can I tempt you with showing off his cookies?
Yeah, go on then.
There we are. He's pretty pleased with them.
But he's just doing everything to impress children, it seems. He'll be throwing bangers at swans in the park next, won't he? Just showing off to the wrong demographic.
This is week 2 of the general election. According to some polls, Labour could achieve the biggest majority since 1924, when Stanley Baldwin became Prime Minister, helped on the campaign trail by the uplifting anthem by Elgar. Things will surely improve somewhat. Talking about how his parents struggled to pay the bills, Keir Starmer reflected on how his phone was cut off. How sad. It wasn't cut off, Keir. It's just no one phoned you. One poll suggests Labour could end up with a 194-seat majority. Don't worry, Rishi, it probably wasn't a very big sample. Oh, no, hang on. According to the Sunday Times, it was a mega poll. Paul and Jack.
Yeah.
Here's yours.
He's still not got that salute right, has he? There he is, having a pint of beer and having a good old laugh. Somebody throwing a banana milkshake over him. Yes, he's one of those politicians doing things to sort of look like I'm working class, you know, I drink beer. But interestingly, when people ask him, how do you pronounce your name? He says, oh, well, it's just like, where do you park your car? It's pronounced the same way, as in garage. He said this a few times and somebody said, multi-storey car park? But anyway, yeah, he's got the publicity that he sought because he said he wasn't going to, then a week later he did, and he's become the new leader of the party. And he stayed in Clacton at the 7th attempt, is it, or 8th attempt to become an MP?
8th.
8th, is it?
Yeah.
He's standing in Clacton. This is the place he said, you know, a few weeks ago when he didn't want to become an MP. He said if you had to become an MP, it would be, you know, far too much work. And he said, I don't want to spend every Friday for the next 5 years in Clacton.
Yes.
That's flattering, isn't it, to your electorate?
Do you want to see something else that he said that he might not want to be reminded of?
Yeah, by all means.
Yes, this is him doing a cameo that somebody paid for him to do for a fan.
Oh.
Happy birthday, Hugh Janus.
Now, that's unfair to him because you can't see he's looking in a mirror.
The specific moment that Nigel decided he'd be revolting was on Monday at an emergency general election announcement.
He gets really cross. I mean, you think the others were tetchy. Farage did a couple of interviews this week, and in all of them, he was just very close to losing it when confronted by reality.
Yeah. This is him being interviewed on the BBC straight after the announcement.
You call it a pressure group, call it a party. You were a candidate to be an MP on a ballot paper in an election.
Mate. How many times have you stood? How many times have you stood? What do you know about it? How many times have you stood?
I'm asking you the questions, Mr. Farage. I mean, the challenge here is people will say, look, you've tried it before,
well, I tell you what,
didn't manage
ask
to
something
do it.
Intelligent.
What makes this time any
Ask something
different?
intelligent and we'll carry on with the conversation, shall we?
I'm interested in why people should trust you that 7 times previously you didn't manage to do that.
No.
You also...
I think you're very, very boring, and I think your viewers will find you very boring, and you ought to do rather better as the state broadcaster, in my view.
Yeah.
Well, this is a man who doesn't really understand democracy, is he? The thing is, you're wanting to stand, you have to answer the questions. You're not allowed to say pass or you're very boring. He's just pure Trump, isn't he? Yeah. He just thinks, I'll just call everyone boring, make stuff up. Farage's one policy, we're having net zero immigration. The first time he's asked about it in a proper interview, and they say, well, shall we have the following skilled workers in? He says, yeah, we'll have them, we'll have them, we'll have them. 600,000. So that's not 0, is it, Nigel?
Well, Carol will be able to tell you that, isn't it?
It's lower than if it were higher.
Yeah. So I think you've mentioned it, but where is Nigel, Gary?
Clacton!
Yes, Clacton. And BBC rules in this election period mean we have to list all the candidates standing in that constituency, so you'll see them on the bottom of the screen right now. So on his first day on the campaign trail in Clacton, Nigel Farage went into a Wetherspoons. According to the Times, he was greeted with shouts of, "Go on, Nigel, my son. We love you, Nigel. Nigel, 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 Nigel." And because we've mentioned Wetherspoons, here's a complete list of all the other public houses available in the Clacton constituency. Nigel Farage also asked people in the Moon and Starfish Wetherspoons, "What have I got to offer?" To which one man at the back shouted, "Fuck all."
And that was his campaign manager.
What happened when he left the pub?
He got attacked by a woman throwing a milkshake at him. Wow. Had it been low-alcohol beer, he would have actually disintegrated. So he must be one of the very few people who's ever been attacked leaving a Wetherspoons. Takes some doing, doesn't it? Wetherspoons. Well, that's where he goes. He went to drink in Wetherspoons, and where he's fondly known as that old loony lefty.
Do you know where he found refuge straight after?
Was it in the arms of a prostitute? Sorry, sex worker. They haven't quite caught on in Clacton.
I don't know who was there with him. It was inside his campaign bus.
Yes, there we are.
He failed to appear on the top deck of his open-top bus, as, according to the Times, he was busy with a flannel.
Yeah, that's a new name for it in Clacton. Will you be wanting a face flannel, or is it an all-over body scrub?
Before announcing that he was standing, where was Nigel Farage spotted, accompanied by Labour defecting, Conservative defecting, Reform hopeful Lee Anderson?
Was it the new Surrealist exhibition at the Tate?
It might be. Let's have a look. It was in this department store.
Oh, yes! It is the new Surrealist exhibition at the Tate.
Yeah. Big pants and a massive arse. So this is Nigel Farage's 8th attempt to become an MP. As Farage left a Clacton Wetherspoons, he was drenched in banana milkshake in an incident described by local police as utterly precedented. The 25-year-old woman who threw milkshake all over Nigel Farage is described in the Times as a Jeremy Corbyn supporter and OnlyFans model. And that's a very niche part of the Venn diagram, containing just her and Diane Abbott. Weird. I don't know what that means. Nigel Farage pledged to his supporters that he would stick to traditional British values. "You won't get any woke PC nonsense from me," he, she, they, it said. The Telegraph canvassed the views of some Clacton residents. "I like Nigel Farage. I liked Boris Johnson. I like Jeremy Clarkson," said Pauline McGinty, 76, the owner of the Jolly Roger restaurant. I haven't been there, but I'm guessing don't ask for the vegan option. Now it's time for 2 clues to the news, in which I'll be putting something on my head to a musical accompaniment, and you have to guess the story.
Right.
Simple as that. Paul and Jack, you're going to go first. Okay. I might do some acting.
OK,
so watch out for that. Here I come. Thank you, Mark. Very good. Yeah. Where's he gone?
We don't know. No, this will be Donald Trump.
I thought it was Louis XIV.
So, yes, Donald Trump has been found guilty on 34 counts and the first American president to become a convicted felon. but it's suspected that the independents and the people who haven't made their mind up are probably going to balk at the idea of voting for somebody who could probably be in prison by the time he becomes president.
Yeah, it's the news that Donald Trump is now a convicted felon.
Yeah, I just said that.
You didn't say it how the Daily Star said it. They've got away with words. Orange man baby is guilty on all counts.
Did anyone see that thing when he said, I had 34 charges? 34. No president has had that many. To be clear, it's not a good thing, is it, being charged?
Do you think he's going to jail, Jack?
He possibly could. I know that if he does, he will be permitted a security brief. He'll have what's known as a ring of steel, which he'll need in prison, I imagine. You know, in all the films, when the new person comes into the prison, you get all the other prisoners at their bars going, new meat, fresh meat. I just can't, they all come together, oh.
Isn't there a thing they do every year with the president on Thanksgiving Day? He has to sort of like pardon a turkey. Yeah. Wouldn't that be funny if he had to do that from his prison cell? You're free!
34 counts of fraud. He could get 4 years in prison for each count. How long could he get, Carol?
136.
Correct. Right. Very good. She's still got it. Do you know what Trump's had to say about the guilty verdict?
He said it was a disgrace. He said that it was a fix. The judge was biased. And they sort of say, you know, there's no such thing as American justice, and we want to send Biden to prison.
Yeah. Trump said at the courthouse after the verdict, I'm a very innocent man. Very. You shouldn't need very.
More innocent than anyone else
has ever been.
Ever.
He also blamed the Biden administration for orchestrating the conviction and exploiting the American judicial system for political ends, something which he'd, of course, never do.
Hillary Clinton, I didn't say lock her up, but the people would all say lock her up, lock her up. OK.
Tell you what, for what she's done, they should lock her up. It's disgraceful. Hillary Clinton has to go to jail, OK? She has to go to jail. You should lock them up. Lock up the Bidens. Lock up Hillary.
Lock up me.
The big question is this going to make him more or less likely to win the election in November?
Less likely.
Great. Well, that's a relief.
Yeah. Definitely.
I hope you're right.
He's got to be. It's got to be.
As for the Democrats, they're not above the law. It's quite complicated, but do you know what Joe Biden's son Hunter is on trial for at the moment?
Yes. It's something to do with a gun, isn't it?
Yes.
Buying a gun illegally. I didn't know it was possible to buy a gun illegally in America. Well, how he managed to do that.
It was illegal because he lied about a crack cocaine addition while...
Addition?
Yeah.
It does, yeah.
He was adding up while on crack. I didn't know that was an offence.
2 + 2 = Hey!
He bought a gun at a time he was doing crack every 15 minutes, apparently.
Wow.
Set your watch by him, apparently.
Yeah. But in fairness, when he went into the gun shop, he had 2 utility bills, so fair enough, he got what he wanted.
And he was only in the gun shop for 11 minutes.
Yeah. And also, his name is Hunter.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah.
One more on Trump. Where was Trump cited this week?
Was it Clacton?
It wasn't.
It's got to be one of those things where somebody's seen his face in a yoghurt or something, isn't it?
You've done this show before.
I have,
Paul, yeah. It was in a steak.
Go on, then.
Here it is.
Yes!
Perfect.
Finally, how did one man in Michigan get in trouble with the law recently?
This is assuming a lot of Michigan knowledge.
Yeah. It was a motoring offence.
Was he driving a lawnmower?
He was not driving a lawnmower. We can see him driving. Let's have a look at his court hearing on Zoom.
Mr. Harris, are you driving?
Actually, I'm pulling into my doctor's office, actually. So just give me 1 second. I'm parking right now.
So maybe I don't understand something. This is a driving while license suspended?
That is correct, Your Honor.
And he was just driving. And he didn't have a license. He's suspended and he's just driving.
That is correct, Your Honor.
So defendant's bond is revoked in this matter. Defendant is to turn himself into the Washington County Jail by 6 p.m. today. Failure to turn himself in will result in a bench warrant with no bond.
Harris, I'll be giving you a call.
Okay.
I love his look. He's going, oh, why? Why, Judge, why?
So this is the shock news that Donald Trump was found guilty on all 34 counts in his hush money trial. Trump ally Rudy Giuliani claimed that the guilty verdict in Manhattan was not a surprise. This city has been politically corrupt for most of the past 150 years, said the former mayor of New York. Throughout the trial, Donald Trump kept complaining that the courtroom was terribly cold. Coincidentally, the same excuse he gave to Stormy Daniels.
There's a theory that in America you come up with your porn star name by combining the weather with your favourite Elton John song, Stormy Daniels. It would make me Drizzly Rocket Man.
Yeah, I'd watch that.
Yeah. I've not had a lot of work, I have to admit.
Ian and Carol, here's one for you. Ready, Mark? 1, 2, 3. Thank you, Mark.
Well, Mark.
Yeah. Big story in the news. You obviously recognise the song, guys.
Yeah, the song was...
That one.
Yeah. It was Avril Lavigne and Skater Boy. Well, no, it was Skater Boy, and that's because...
Of course, how stupid.
It's the other big news, that skateboarding is now a GCSE subject in Northern Ireland.
Is it?
No.
Gnarly, isn't it?
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Do neither of you shred?
Shred? What? Wheat?
Why do you think skateboarding has been added to the curriculum?
Because, you know, there's so much space on the curriculum.
Well, the perception of it has changed, apparently, since it was included in the Olympics. Skateboard instructor Jared Purvis persuaded the Northern Irish exam body to include it. He told The Times, "I looked at some English exam boards and they had snowboarding. I thought it's not that different and much easier to do in a school hall in Derry."
Well, let's face it, it's much more important than maths.
I think
What sort of questions do they ask?
Well, it'll be things like this. How would you shove it? So you're on a board, Ian.
Yes.
What are you going to do?
It's in my head, but I'm not going to say it.
You're going to spin the board 180 degrees without the board leaving the ground.
Why can't it just be a sport? Why is it on the curriculum?
Concentrate on the exam, Ian. Who can tell me... Who can tell me what is a Christ air?
Is that when you get crucified for leading a new religion?
It sort of is. It's an aerial trick where you pick up the board and put your arms out to look like Jesus on the cross in mid-air. It's what he would have wanted. It looks like this.
That looks more advanced than GCSE. That's degree level.
Yeah,
But it is time now to do the practical. Now, in other extreme sports news, what controversy has hit the world of fly fishing recently?
Shortage of flies.
It's cruel to flies.
It's to do with the Fly Fishers Club in Mayfair.
Really?
Yeah. And they've
a lot
been...
of fishing in Mayfair, is there?
They've been urged to admit women.
What, as bait? Is that right, as bait? Is it as bait?
It is as bait. Do you know who's been leading the calls? Quite aptly named anglers Marina Gibson and Philippa Hake. So this is the news that skateboarding is now a GCSE subject in Northern Ireland. After getting a degree in skateboarding, the really gifted ones will be able to do extra research and qualify for a PhD. Dude.
Very good. Very good.
Fingers on Buzzer's team. We're going to do one more of these.
OK.
I was hoping there'd be another one.
Yeah. What is this story?
Yeah, well, it's Alpine Horns, isn't it?
It is Alpine Horns. Yeah.
And
they are gathering. Yeah.
Gathering dust in a museum.
I'll give you that. It's the exciting news. It's the exciting news that the UK's largest ever gathering of Alpine Horn enthusiasts has been held in Berkshire. So well done for getting that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
The largest ever gathering. How many people do you think attended the Alpine Horn or Alp Horn?
42.
42?
I think...
It's the largest ever.
Yeah, I think it was about like 300, I heard.
No, it was 11.
11?
Double figures.
Yeah. It doesn't sound like a lot.
No.
Here they all are in one photo. Event organiser Francis Jones said there are a lot of people in the UK who own an Alp Horn now. According to the BBC, that figure is thought to be about 20. They're 4 metres long, the Alpine Horns.
Are they really?
They are.
They? Gosh, I'm so glad I knew that.
Yeah. I'll tell you some more if you want.
Please.
Yeah, well, Francis added, many come to the instrument having played the French horn or the tuba, famously the gateway drug to the Alp Horn. Well, I think we should have a listen to some Alp Horns being played. Here we go.
Go on, Em.
Yeah, and whenever you hear an Alp Horn, it transports you straight to an idyllic mountain landscape, said organiser Francis, where Hitler had his lair. Staying with enthusiasts, who remembers this story?
This was the council had banned hanging baskets from lampposts because they said it was a health and safety issue and that people could be electrocuted. And this woman, for example, I think was one of the people that said, "Well, I'm going to hold them up myself."
Yes.
They can't stop me doing that.
Yeah,
Has the council reversed its decision?
You won't believe it.
What? Really?
Well, they sort of have. It was organisers of Chatteris in Bloom, who, as you said, were told they couldn't hang them up without completing the health and safety course, costing £165.
What?
But a member of another volunteer team has stepped up. He belongs to Chatteris Christmas Lights. He's already completed the course. He's now put up all 40 hanging baskets in Chatteris. Good news. Finally, what unusual item did a performer in Glasgow bring on stage with her this week?
I think she was eating a bag of Wotsits or something.
If you've not been to a pub in Glasgow recently, have a look at this. Well, I think we should give a round of applause. Mr. Mark Brown! Time now for the Missing Words round, which this week features as its guest publication Fistful of Metal, the magazine for heavy metal lovers. There's a special gift in every issue for fans of metal, 2 staples. And we start with mystery after man in Newcastle finds what in his back garden?
Black Sabbath.
Is it eyeball? So he went, why I?
No.
Front garden. Mystery after man in Newcastle finds front garden in his back garden.
It is a living thing. It's...
Oh, it's Ed Davey.
Goldfish.
Goldfish?
It's goldfish, yes. The goldfish appeared in the middle of the lawn, despite the man not having a pond and there not being any water for miles. According to Sky News, the man who happened to be at home to rescue the dying goldfish is a junior doctor. Oh. And there's Rishi Sunak saying they shouldn't be on strike. Next, woman in South Wales loves pigeons so much she... what?
She's married one. She's had facial reconstruction. She's married a pigeon.
No, she shares her bed with them.
She shares a bed with a pigeon?
Yeah.
That's fair enough.
Animal lover Lucy Morris, who keeps pigeons called Rosie and Florrie in her home. Here's the happy family with their pets. Have a good look at the daughter there. Next, what in a spoon factory in Sheffield? It's a long what?
A number of spoons are manufactured.
Mystery fork found in...
Spoon
factory in Sheffield.
I like the idea of a mystery fork. It's not that. This is
Uri
from...
Geller thinks it's Christmas.
It is, in the early days, Def Leppard used to practice. in a spoon factory in Sheffield. Oh. Being surrounded by spoons no doubt inspired one of Def Leppard's biggest hits, Pour Some Sugar on Me. And the less successful album track, Oh, This Soup's a Bit Hot. Next, thief who stole what? Tells police what?
Thief who stole thesaurus tells police I'm innocent, pure, unblemished, trustworthy. Honest, not guilty, without sin, blameless.
I'll give you the first half. The thief who stole 17 tubes of Pringles in one go tells police once you tip one, you can't stop. Well, once you pop, you can't stop.
Don't say once you... I've got it right.
Yeah.
Don't I can't give you the points there, Jack.
No, sorry.
This is a proper...
Yeah. A proper quiz.
Proper quiz, yeah.
Proper quiz.
Next, woman who ordered dress online 2 years ago, what?
Discovers it was behind the bin all the time.
I mean, that's pretty much right. She finds it decomposed in the garden while weeding.
Decomposed?
Meg Johnson from South Wales found the old dress in her flower bed after a courier had thrown the package over the garden wall 2 years before. There it is.
Well, it's like something from Silent Witness.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Next, what is as disgusting as you'd expect?
Dress that'd been shoved over a wall 2 years later. Heavy metal amateur contest.
It's a death metal single.
Oh.
Is it called Kick My Pony?
Death metal single. Black market vasectomy is as disgusting as you'd expect. Yes, it is available as a download for just 99p. It's a real snip.
Yeah.
Finally, man cycles 8,699 miles to what?
To show off like all other cyclists.
Yeah. Man cycles 8,699 miles to test 8,700 miles guarantee.
Is it BT's Please Hold the Line music?
Man cycles 8,699 miles to meet Wayne Rooney. Manchester United fan Orkivani Batbol cycled all the way to Old Trafford from Mongolia in the hope of meeting his hero Wayne Rooney through 17 countries, including Iran and Kazakhstan. The worst part of his journey involved barely formed roads full of potholes, but once he was through the outskirts of Manchester, it was fine. You can all join in on that one.
Yeah.
Well
Still
done.
good, though.
Yeah, it still works. So the final scores, guys.
No.
I'm afraid, Ian and Carol, you've only got 3 points, while Paul and Jack have twice that with 6 points.
Yes. Well done, sir. Well done. Well done. And we were told just before the programme this has been the 600th recording of this show. 600 shows we've done.
What was it, 1990 you started?
Yeah, yes, October 1990.
Well, back then the country was in a real state, wasn't it? But
oh, yes.
Well done you guys for sorting that out.
On which note, we say thank you to our panellists, Ian Hislop and Carol Vorderman, Paul Merton and Jack Dee. And I leave you with news that pictures from Rupert Murdoch's 5th wedding this week reveal a sneak peek of the groom getting ready for his big day. As cinema attendances continue to fall, Disney take a drastically different approach to their films with a horror remake of Mary Poppins. And at a D-Day anniversary event in France, Lib Dem leader Ed Davey presents a dignified tribute to the Allied landing forces. Good night.
On your first show, who was the Prime Minister?
Margaret Thatcher.
Margaret Thatcher.
Margaret Thatcher's
First
Prime Minister.
ever, have I?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. It was Pitt the Younger. I remember it incredibly clearly.
Yeah.
You've overtaken Lassie, who got 591 episodes. So
Really?
well, yeah.
Was never not the same Lassie though. They got through several Lassies.
Yeah, they did it with us too.
Yeah.